Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. It's your girl Beloved and I'm back with a new recipe for the channel. Beloved Catering Service is a business where we make cakes, meat pies, ring donuts, spring rolls, samosa and all kinds of fruit drinks and fruit juices, especially sobolo. We also make jollof rice and fried rice for all events and occasions. You can contact us with the information provided on your screen. Today we are baking, assembling and decorating a chocolate and vanilla marble cake with whipped cream frosting for a client's birthday. Ingredients for the marble cake are half tablespoon of vegetable oil, 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 3 room temperature eggs, 2 cups of white sugar, 1 tablespoon of powdered salt, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, half tablespoon of baking soda, 4 tablespoons of unsweetened cocoa powder, 85 grams of butter, 1¼ cup of buttermilk, 1 tablespoon of vanilla essence, 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, 1 tablespoon of white vinegar, and 1 tablespoon of instant coffee powder. For the whipped cream frosting, we will be using 500 grams of the instant whipped cream, 2 tablespoons of vanilla essence, 1 pack of icing sugar, 3/4 cup of milk, and 3/4 cup of cold water, which will be mixed together, meaning that the milk should be cold as well. Then for the chocolate strip, we will be using 1 cup of dark chocolate chips and ½ cup of full cream milk. We will also be using a happy birthday cake topper, 1 small packet of Oreos, 2 chocolate covered biscuits, 1 chocolate twist, and some gold sprinkles. Let's begin. Grease the baking tins with the homemade cake release and set it aside. Pour the flour into a sieve on top of a mixing bowl. Add the salt, the cornstarch, the baking powder, the baking soda, and then sift everything into the mixing bowl. Now whisk it together to ensure everything mixes up properly and then set it aside. Use a spoon to scoop the butter into another mixing bowl. Add in the oil and the sugar. Then mix everything until light and fluffy with a hand mixer on high speed for 3 minutes. Now add in the eggs and mix it in as well. Add in the vanilla essence and the vinegar. Also add in 1/4 cup of the buttermilk. Then mix everything together. Now add in half of the dry ingredients. Remove the paddle attachment from the hand mixer and set it aside because we are going to continue the mixing by hand. Use a spatula to mix the dry ingredients together with the wet ingredients. Then add in the rest of the buttermilk and mix the buttermilk with the butter. Now use a kitchen scale to weigh the butter and based on the weight, divide the butter with the aid of a calculator. The weight of the butter was 1,500 grams, so I divided it into 2, which is 750 grams. Then pour half of the cake batter into another mixing bowl. Now add in the cocoa powder, the instant coffee powder, 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil, and then mix everything together. Preheat your oven for a few minutes at 160 degrees Celsius. I will be using 2 ladles for this process. Scoop a ladle of the chocolate butter into each of the greased baking tins. Then, scoop a ladle of the vanilla butter onto each of the chocolate butter in the greased baking tin. Scoop another ladle of the chocolate butter onto the vanilla butter in the baking tins. Scoop another ladle of the vanilla butter onto the chocolate butter. Shake the baking tins a little and then continue the alternating of the cake batters until both are finished. Now use a skewer to create this flower pattern on the cake like so. Start by moving the skewer from the edge of the baking tin into the middle and then clean it with a tissue. Now do the same on the opposite sides as well. Pat it on a flat surface a little bit. Place the cakes in the oven for about 30 minutes or until a skewer comes out clean. Let the cake sit in the baking tin for about 20 minutes. Then run a butter knife around the cakes in the baking tin and then flip it onto a cooling rack to cool for about 20 minutes. Freeze your hand mixer pins and the bowl you'll be using for the frosting for about 30 minutes before you make the frosting. First of all, let's make the chocolate drip. Preheat your milk for about 5 minutes. Then pour 1 cup of dark chocolate into a measuring cup. Add in the hot milk and then give it a good stir for about 3 to 5 minutes. To speed up the process, you can put the measuring cup containing the chocolate in a bowl of hot water and then set it aside for a few minutes. Then you give it a stir and by then the chocolate would have been melted. Let's make the whipped cream frosting. This is the setup that I'll be using for the cake decoration. We will be using 2 bowls here. One will contain the whipped cream powder and then the other will be used for the mixing. In the other bowl, pour in half of the whipped cream powder, which is 500 grams. Take the other bowl out of the freezer and let's begin. In the frozen mixing bowl, pour in a little bit of the water and milk mixture. Then add in a few spoons of the instant whipped cream and then mix on high speed with a hand mixer. Continue adding in the instant whipped cream spoon by spoon until the consistency of the whipped cream is okay for your use. If it is too stiff, adjust with a little bit of the water and milk mixture. But if it's okay, you can continue and then fold in the icing sugar and the vanilla essence and then you can start working with it. Let's assemble the cake. Place the cake board on the turntable and secure it with some solution tape. Then scoop a little bit of the frosting onto it and spread it with the offset spatula. Now place the first layer of the marble cake onto the cake board. Then with the aid of the serrated knife, trim off the top layer of the cake. This is an optional step. I'm just doing this so that when I drizzle it with the simple milk syrup, everything will get into the cake just like I want it. Then drizzle the cake layer with the milk syrup. Check out the link description below to get the recipe. Now scoop some frosting onto the cake and then use the offset spatula to spread it nicely. Trim off the top layer of the second cake, drizzle it with some of the syrup and then place it on top of the cake that has the frosting. Then use the serrated knife to trim off all the caramelized edges. And if the cake needs any leveling, this is the time to do it. Scoop some of the frosting on top of the cake and then use the offset spatula to spread it nicely on the top and the sides of the cake to make it look like a crumb coating. With this recipe, since the whipped cream is mostly too soft to set, I mixed it in batches. So this is the second batch that we are going to use. Now pick up the piping bag with your preferred piping tip in it and then scoop into it the frosting. Now pipe some lines around the cake. After piping the lines, use the scraper to smoothen the sides of the cake. Pipe the rest of the frosting onto the top of the cake and then smoothen it out with the offset spatula. As you smoothen the cake, fill in the gaps that may appear and then smoothen it. Let's decorate the cake. Pour the melted chocolate into a drizzle bottle and then use it to drape the cake. Pour the rest of the melted chocolate onto the top of the cake and then smoothen it all round with the palette knife. Now pipe your preferred design onto the bottom of the cake and also on the chocolate covered parts of the cake. As I was piping on the chocolate covered part of the cake, I didn't realize that it was slipping off, so I had to fix it. But after everything, it got fixed and the cake still looked beautiful. Now add the cake topper to the chocolate covered part of the cake. After that, add the chocolate covered biscuits, the Oreos and the chocolate twist according to the design that you want. After everything has been added onto the cake, introduce the chocolate sprinkles on the cake according to your preference or the quantity that you want to use. And guys, this is our chocolate and vanilla marble cake with whipped cream frosting, chocolate drape, and some cute decorations for a client's birthday. After everything was done with, I then placed the cake in the cake box that I'll be using for the delivery to the client. And this is a cake box I made myself. This is where today's video ends. Thank you for watching. Make it a point to watch my videos this and every Thursday for wholesome content and amazing recipes that you can try out with your friends and family. I would like to use this opportunity to welcome you to the channel if this is your first time ever watching my video, and thank you for watching it till now. Also, I'd like to give a big shout out to all my subscribers. God bless you all. Let's all join hands for this channel to grow. Till we meet again, dear viewers. Bye bye.